everybody, welcome to another video for War Machine. I'm Lightem'up here with a battle report fresh off the presses from Minions and Skorne. So this will be my buddy's Minions list that he went to Adepticon with and ended up taking, I think, 3rd or 4th place in Masters with it. It is a Minions Theme Force list with Maelok The Dreadbound, 2 Blackhide Wrestlers, 2 free Bull Snappers, 2 Gatorman Witch Docs, a free Totem Hunter, a Ferageist, and 6 minimum units of Gatorman Posse. Now in the Theme Force, I believe the deployment zone is extended 2 inches. The Gatorman Posse all go up to 8 hit points. They all gain snacking, and they are now straight up badasses. Especially with Maelok and the 2 Gatorman Posse. So his thing throughout the whole time, throughout the game plan, I should say, is he puts the Deathbound pack on one of them to spell on 1 min unit so that they're undead, and 2 more undead units get the Gatorman Witch Doc, or get undead from the Gatorman Witch Doc. Anyway, so my list for Skorne. This is a tweaked list I took for Zaadesh. It is also a list I played at Masters in Adepticon and did not quite like it, actually. I think I played it in Iron Gauntlet. Yeah, I played it in Iron Gauntlet at Adepticon. Actually did not end up liking it, and I've since taken it out of my rotation. But it just had Gladiator, Karn, Despoiler, an Archidon, 2 Brutes, and an Agonizer. Going with support on the Extoller Soulward, Beast Handlers maxed out, and then the Legends of Halaak in the backfield. Turns out it's a little too weak. Can't quite get the punch I wanted to get. So I decided I needed to add, tweak some things, add some things, take some things out. But on to the game. So this game was actually played the weekend right before we went to Adepticon. This will be our last practice game. And it, I had never played against Minions, really. I think I played once or twice against David. Prior to this, I think I had one on the channel, actually. Maybe? No, I don't think so. Anyway, David just started playing Minions again. He bounces around a lot. But he got into Minions once, he went back to Minions, I should say, once this Theme Force came out, because this Theme Force is baller. I won the role, decided to take first turn, which he did not mind, because he gets to start 12 inches up the board instead of 10. And on Incursion, with the list he has, board presence is going to be a thing. So on my first turn, the idea is I have both of my Brutes deployed at the southern, what I'm going to call the southern portion of the map. So I want the 2 Brutes to go over to contest and tie up that bottom flag. I'll bring the Gladiator over there with them so that the Gladiator can rush one at a time if he needs to. So that Zaadesh can stay at the other side of that forest and rush any beast that needs rushing up on the top. Sent the Archidon up to the top flag so that he can contest that top flag and pick off beasts one at a time, or pick off Gatorman one at a time, hopefully. He doesn't quite have the strength to really get them, kill them on one time, unless he gets a little bit of a spike. Power 15 without a beast handler nearby means he's going to need some high numbers to kill, especially when they have 8 boxes. But it's better than nothing. Have the Legends of Halaak are, I believe, yeah, the Legends of Halaak are up near the top 2 to go and support the Archidon in later turns. So my buddy, he moves up and he's got his Gatorman clearly identified, different colorings, which is nice. When you're playing this many types of units, you definitely want to have them easily distinguishable to your opponent, not just with 1s and 2s on the backs of their bases. I believe the 2 min units in the middle of the table get the undead from the Witch Doc Croc, and I think the green unit at the bottom of the table gets the spell. I'm not really certain, but I think it's all the 3 middle units, I believe, are the undead units this turn. Don't take my word for that. It doesn't really matter at this point. It really matters for his feat. So, yeah, if you don't know Maelok's feat, any undead models in his army gain +2 armor. That's the big thing for his feat. But yeah, it's so he can get pretty high armor numbers on those unyielding undead Gatorman Posse. I believe they have unyielding. Anyway, up at the top, the Archidon went in. He did manage to take out one of the Gatorman Posses, which is great, and then filtered away, or flew away. And then Legends of Halaak moved up behind him to provide some support for the next turn. I sent in Molik Karn and forgot that he does not have sidestep. Again, this is a big problem for me, remembering that Karn does not have sidestep unless he's with Makeda. So instead I just killed a Gator, potentially two, can't remember, and then Fate Walker to back up. Despoiler went up and he put up his Animus. And then I decided to charge in one of my brutes, forgetting that I charged him right out of my control zone, control range, so he was unable to be forced after he finished his charge, which sucked, which made me decide to send in my other brute on the blue unit of Gators at the bottom there. He failed to kill anyone, so that's not good. And then Zaadesh put up a couple clouds to keep the Gators from being able to charge into Despoiler and hopefully being able to charge into Karn. I did not pop my feet this turn, and then we went ahead with the next turn with the clock. Alright, so basically tactics-wise, the idea here is I don't want him to be able to get to my stuff with his heavies. I don't want him to be able to charge his heavies into Karn or to Despoiler. So that's why the clouds are where they are. The Wrastler won't be able to charge into him, and he won't be able to have an awful lot of the Gatorman charge into my guys. I think it's only going to be 2 or 3, if I'm right. And 2 or 3 probably don't kill Karn, and most likely will not kill even the Despoiler. I do have the Agonizer bubble up, so that is helping as well. And it's good for the Agonizer because of the strength debuff. The defense debuff wouldn't matter much since the Gatorman Posse has rerolls against living models, and everything in my list is living model. So you saw me adding Fury to Karn. That was him attempting to make Maelok miss the spell that Maelok was trying to cast. Maelok was able to get out of my 10-inch radius of the Despoiler. Should have moved the Despoiler as far as I could forward. I kept him a little further back than I should have. And that allowed Maelok to cast Mortality onto Karn. And then he charged in a few of his... he's going to be charging in his Gatorman into Karn right now. So see, one of them gets in there. Gets not a bad hit, a couple points of damage. And then he's going to charge in a second unit. The looks like a yellow or green unit. Can't really tell colors because I'm color deficient, colorblind. So sorry if I get the colors wrong. Does a few more points of damage onto Karn, but really he's just tying him up to keep Karn from being able to get to any of the juicy stuff. It is going to be a problem. We've got the looks like he's measuring to see if he can get line of sight what he can charge. He's actually able to charge into the Gladiator. This is Maelok's feet turn, so all of his I think his entire force is incorporeal, and then the undead factions and undead faction models in his army are +2 armor. So that's good for them, bad for me. But he was able to charge in a couple of Gatormen into my Gladiator. Got significant damage on the Gladiator, looks like. And then the Wrastler comes up and... oh, sorry, that got significant damage onto a Brute. Did a couple points of damage onto the Gladiator. But the Wrastler came up and finished off the one Brute. The other Gatorman come up and attempt to take out the second Brute. And after all the rerolls, leave him on, looks like 3 or 4 focus, 3 or 4 hit points, sorry. And then we're up to the top of the screen. He is going to be attacking my Archidon. Unfortunately, even with Sprint, I was unable to get anywhere near out of range of the charges from his guys. He does leave the Archidon on 1 point so far, and then he just hops the Totem Hunter in, kills the Archidon with the Totem Hunter, and sprints the Totem Hunter back into the forest, switching prey. I am not sure who he switched prey onto, but it doesn't matter really at this point. I think he put it onto Molik Karn actually. And then we are on to my turn. So, he's got some heavy armor on his infantry models. The Gatorman Posse, when they're engaged and undead under the feet, makes them armor 20 with 8 boxes. It's pretty harsh to get through without a heavy. There are 2 units that are undead, and I believe it is the unit at the top. 3 units that are undead, sorry. The unit at the top, the unit right down the middle, and then the unit that is engaging my Gladiator at the bottom. So, I am trying to figure out if it is possible for me to free up Karn, because I think if I can get over to the Wrastler, I can hit the Wrastler and just kill the Wrastler. Even with the minus the +2 armor, pretty much negate that with my feet, and then I can enrage to get Karn. I mean, he's gonna hit a power 18 Weapon Master that can kill pretty much anything. But Zaadesh goes up, he does feet, and starts to attack some of the Gatorman Posse, ends up not killing either of the 2 that he's attacking, even though he spent down quite a bit of his fury, or his focus. Yeah, his fury, sorry. He does put up a cloud, and then he walked away out of the range of the one guy because he was not engaged him. He was engaging, but was not engaged by. And then continue up to the Despoiler. Despoiler went and killed a couple of guys. I believe this is me trying to figure out how to kill as many of the Gators as possible with the Gladiator. I don't have the Cyclops Brute at the bottom this turn because he ended up frenzying. Did no damage, I believe, to the blue Gator. And then, after all 4 of my fury, I am able to kill 2 of the Gators at the bottom with the Gladiator. So a 4 fury Gladiator under Zaadesh's feet was only able to take out 2 of the Gatorman Posse. That is a bit of a problem for me. Okay, sorry, so here goes the Despoiler. So I'm able to send the Despoiler in onto a Wrastler, and we'll see if the Despoiler is able to do anything to him. Rolling boxcars to hit's nice, but then not so nice damage. Starts buying some of the attacks, and after all 4 fury, the Wrastler is still on the board. So, sad times at Ridgemont High. Send in my... I ended up giving guidance to one of the members, to Sadar, on the Legends of Halaak to go kill off that Ferageist. So the Ferageist won't be a problem. And then they used the other 2 members and ended up charging one of them into a Bull Snapper. Killed her with his one hit from the Legend of Halaak, killed the Bull Snapper, which was impressive. Was not expecting that, but I guess 4 dice under the feet of power, I believe it's 15 with the feet. Combo striking is not bad. So yeah, does it. The Gatorman Posse though did not die to the Morocco's man, but it happens. And then we pass turn onto my opponent's turn. Unfortunately, the Gladiator has 1 inch reach, so he will not even have to take the defensive strikes from the feet with the Gladiator. That's sad, but to be expected. That's why I prefer to run only 2-inch melee beasts and only 2-inch melee troopers in this army list, but sometimes you can avoid it, especially when you want the Gladiator. Ended up taking the Gladiator out of this list actually for Adepticon. Ended up not playing with the Gladiator for Adepticon. It's interesting, I played the entire Adepticon without a Gladiator. Mainly, it was something fun to do and it was interesting, but I don't know if it was good or not. He did send, looks like a Posse member onto Zaadesh for a few points of damage. Zaadesh is not camping any focus, I don't think, or fury, I don't believe. but he doesn't have an awful lot that can get to me, so I wasn't too concerned with it. One of his Gatorman Posse died to a defensive strike from Karn. Figured it was better to take it then than to wait. Charges from these posses are more deadly than you might think. The Agonizer dies to the next posse member that charges in, providing souls to the Soulward there at the top. And then my opponent here is measuring out. He's doing a lot of measuring here. I think Maelok just moved out of the forest. I don't think Maelok did anything. That right there was a sack strike from the Gatorman Witch Doc to kill off Zaadesh from the Legends. So the Legends are completely wiped off the board by a sack strike and a two of the Gatorman Posse killing the other twos. That was an issue. I was planning on having them do a lot of work, and not being able to kill those two Gatormen really kind of screwed me up. The Blackhide Wrastler, I believe he got Rage from Maelok. I think that's what Maelok did, was cast Rage on the Blackhide. He is able to take down the Despoiler. And then I put all 4 Fury onto Molik Karn to make the guy re-roll his hits, and he keeps on hitting. Does leave Karn alive though. The Totem Hunter runs there in the back. And then the Blackhide at the bottom, he's going to come up and he's going to attempt to take out my Gladiator. And unfortunately for me, my defensive strike, which did hit, did not do enough damage to take out any aspects, which is sad. It would be nice to take out Spirit, but you know, it happens. The Blackhide is unable to take out the Gladiator. Fortunately for me, he does leave him with only 1 out aspect, so I can heal him up pretty easily. And we need to try to salvage this game. So he's got the top section of the board pretty well done. I need to figure out a way to clear the the Gatorman Posses away from Molik Karn, and then just send Karn into his Blackhide, if not into Maelok himself. If I can do that, if I can take out the Blackhide, I think I can win this game. If I can take out Maelok, obviously, if I can get him to Maelok, then I can definitely win this game. Right now, we've got, that was the Beast Handlers actually went and killed off a couple of the Posse members because the living ones take automatic damage, which is good for me. I charged Zaadesh into the Blackhide at the bottom. He's getting flank off of the Gladiator, and he no longer has a armor buff, so I figured he might be able to do something. And after spending all my fury, because it wasn't worth, it was looking kind of grim, I spent all my fury and not able to kill him. So it takes the Gladiator to kill off the Blackhide. In retrospect, I should have just had the Gladiator kill off the Blackhide himself and use the dash for something else, but I was getting a little greedy, I guess. And then Karn kills a few of the Gatorman Posse, and Fate Walker's back to keep an eye on that damn Totem Hunter. On my opponent's turn, I did not even realize that I totally had Zaadesh in charge range of the other Blackhide, and Maelok is able to go and put Mortality onto Zaadesh, charge in a Bullhide Snapper, and the Bullhide Snapper actually ends up killing Zaadesh. So that was just sad. This will be a Minions victory. It wasn't bad, it was a good game. I just had a few mistakes, mental errors. Definitely should have played Zaadesh a little bit safer, but Zaadesh likes to be up there in the mix. Spending down all my fury was dumb, obviously. I did not have to do that. I should have had the Gladiator go first and see if he could take out the Blackhide on his own, but honestly I just kind of wanted to see if Zaadesh could do it. Either way, I think this list was something that was kind of an experiment, so I'm not sad with the way it turned out. I tweaked it a little bit, took the Gladiator out, put in a little more hitting power, and I think it turned out a little bit better. I put the cats in, I believe, the kitty cats. But anyway, I will be doing, later this week, hopefully, I will be doing an Adepticon review on the back end of a photo battle report from Adepticon. I think it was one of my IG games. that I was able to take photos of, and then after that I forgot to take photos of all my other all my other games. Either way, ended up coming in 18th out of 92 in the Masters event, and I believe I came in like 30th out of like 60 or something like that in the Iron Gauntlet, or 70 something. I don't know, something like, maybe 54. Anyway, then it came in like 30th something from Iron Gauntlet, so not so great with showing in Iron Gauntlet, but pretty good showing in Masters. And if you guys, the next event I will be going to, it seems like it's going, or looks like it's going to be MuseCon up on May 27th, 8th, and 9th, I believe. It is the weekend right after Mother's Day weekend. So if you guys are going to be at MuseCon up in Iowa, it is the 26th, 27th, and 28th of May. I will see you guys there. I'll be playing War Machine, probably bringing Signar. I think I will be switching back to Signar here in a minute. Probably this week I'll be switching back and focusing on them for a couple of months just to get a palate cleanse. I've been playing Skorne almost exclusively for the last 4 or 5 months, so just get another taste of something. If you guys got a specific request for casters you want to see, or battle reports you'd like to see, or suggestions about the reports, please hit me up in the comment section below, or check out my Facebook on Lightem'up WMH. Yeah, facebook.com/Lightem'up That is my Facebook page. Like that, and I will see you all next week. Have a great one.